Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe. My co-host, Cantu, is not with me today, but I do have MLB Central host, MLB analyst from MLB Network, as well as a video game personnel, Robert Flores. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Just enjoying the day, I guess you could say. Baseball's playing as well. The Astros right now. That's the main reason why we're here. We got our
hmm
objectives on the side. We're gonna roll through this thing real quick. But right now they're winning 6-1 against the Tampa Bay Rays. The offense
Yeah.
looks like it's starting to click. We could talk about that Red Sox series real quick. What did you see in that series prior from the boys taking off from Minute Maid to Fenway?
Well, I think it just goes to show that for whatever reason, this team just hits better away from home. They certainly haven't had the home struggles that they had last year, but for whatever reason, they just seem to be more consistent, be more explosive away from Minute Maid Park. And Yordan Alvarez and Alex Bregman notoriously have great success against the Red Sox, especially again at that ballpark. So that continued, but also the pitching was really good. Spencer Arrighetti, past few starts has been a revelation, and Hunter Brown continues to be consistently solid to very good, which is what this staff needs.
Yeah, you said it best yourself. I mean, Eric Getty, 25 strikeouts in his last two starts. Hunter Brown just been dominating ever since developing that sinker, utilizing his fastball and the off speed as well. But they've done a really great job. Like you're saying, the Red Sox series, it kind of looked like just the offense finally exploding. Over there at Minute Maid, going back to that Tampa Bay Rays series, man, they couldn't scratch any runs. I think they only scored 4 runs in total in that series. And in the first game going to the Trop, I mean, bam, 6 runs. 1 through 4, the lineup, as I saw earlier, was 6 for 12, 5
Hmm.
RBIs, home run, double. Um, of course, Bregman and Alvarez getting co-player of the week for the American League. So let's talk about this season, though, in general. Last time we talked to you was in the very, very, very before even the season had started.
Yeah.
Just want to get your thoughts. I mean, starting rotation has been depleted so many times this season. Of course, Kyle Tucker, I don't think anybody had expected him to be out for 2 months. But
No.
can you give me that one word describing this season so far and the Astros tenure going into 24?
That's a good question. One word. I would say let me think about that.
I mean, their slogan is relentless.
Yeah, I mean, I would say how about eventful? How
Yeah.
about that? It started very poorly. I mean, you can't start much worse. Then they got hot. All the injuries, especially in the rotation. You're not getting Lance McCullers bat. I'd be shocked if Luis Garcia came back. Who knows if Kyle Tucker is going to come back? But yet here they are, percentage points ahead of the Mariners for first place. So it's been an eventful season for sure.
Yeah, I mean, starting rotation, like losing JP France, Christian Javier, Jose Urquidy, and of course, there was a missing start from Framber Valdez, Justin
Yep.
Verlander as well. Ronel Blanco's been the unsung hero of this
Yeah.
starting rotation. I had to ask Alex Bregman too. I mean, about Blanco not getting that All-Star game bid as a reserve at least, and he's like, without him, they probably wouldn't be pushing for a postseason spot at this moment.
Right. Yeah, no, he has been excellent, especially at the beginning of the season. When really no one else in the rotation, either they were hurt or they were ineffective, and he has definitely been a vital part of this team from the very beginning. I think he's kind of taken a step back here.
Mhm.
And that's for a variety of reasons. I mean, I'm sure the league has adjusted to him. Now he has to adjust back to that adjustment. Also, he's approaching innings that he's never faced before. So
Mhm.
I was not surprised to see him come back to earth a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he has been so. Shout out to Dana Brown for recognizing Ronel Blanco. Remember, this was a bullpen arm.
Mhm.
And Dana Brown saw him throw and said, "You know what? Let's try him as a starter. Let's just see if it works." And it has worked very well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's been one of the like I said, one of the unsung heroes of this starting rotation. And like you were saying, with the innings pitch, he already passed that in 23. We did the math the last episode. I think he had 125, including triple A innings pitch and in the majors, and now he's at 128 this season. But I mean, I did skip that Joe Espada at the helm. We'll get him in a minute. But since we're talking about the starting rotation, at the trade deadline, I don't think anybody had expected the Astros to give that package with the
Mm-hmm.
giving away Joey Luperfido,
Yeah.
Will Wagner, who just got his call up today with the Blue
Mm-hmm.
Jays, and Jake Bloss. Give me your thoughts on that. Did you see that in the beginning of seeing that trade? Did you think of that as an overpay? Of course, the market was high from the get
Yeah.
go. Give me your thoughts on that trade so far.
I think there's layers to it, right? And the first thing you have to understand, and we have to uh, be mindful of, is that these trades sometimes don't take full effect for a year, two, maybe even three.
Mhm,
Look at the perfect example. I mean, it's not exactly an apples to apples comparison, but Christian Vasquez for Willie Abreu.
mhm.
You know, Christian Vasquez helped the Astros win the World Series in 2022. Played a
Right,
huge role.
right.
But Willie Abreu's shown that he's pretty
He was
good,
pretty good. I ain't gonna
right?
lie. He is one of the
So,
best players over there.
I'm looking at Loperfido right now. He has he's hitting 210, two RBIs, got an OPS of 586. Let me see the strikeouts here. How many times has he struck out? He struck out 59 times in 138 at bats.
Wow.
So, is he going to be a good player? I would think so. Is he going to be an all-star? I have no idea. Is he going to be an MVP? I don't know. Did the Astros need starting pitching? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Now, I think it's important to realize that when you consider players like Loperfido, Wagner, Bloss, they were three good players in an otherwise barren system, right?
Mhm.
So they aren't, none of those players were in the top 100 league wide. I just found it a little funny that, some fans were making Loperfido out to be Mickey Mantle. So it's now what you can be critical of the Astros is, was there a little bit of an overpay? Yeah, probably a little bit,
Mhm.
but the market was high. They were desperate. I think the biggest criticism of the Astros was they didn't do anything in the offseason to sign veteran starting
And
pitching.
pitching.
They should have been all over Seth Lugo.
Mhm.
They should have been all over Michael Wacha, Sonny Gray, any other veteran starting pitching. They should have been all over that, but they weren't, and that put them in the position where they had to make a play and kind of forced a little desperation.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you for the offseason. Didn't get Victor Caratini, but the pitching part, and I always go back to this player, Nathan Uvalde, because I feel like he's one of those impactful guys that can
Yeah,
help a starting rotation, especially in the postseason time. And look what he did for Texas last year. So
yeah.
I totally agree with the starting pitching. You can't have enough pitching basically
No, I mean
in
they
your
they
rotation.
have they have found that they have learned the hard way
Mhm.
that you need to be uh, uh, extra arms is the way to go. If you don't have extra arms, you don't have enough. And what they did in 2022, where all those starters made all those starts and they were basically all healthy and they were all good at the same time, that doesn't happen. You cannot count on that year after year, not in today's game.
Mhm.
Larger conversation should be how pitching is being trained and prepared and things like that. But that's kind of a larger industry wide conversation. But I just think that the Astros didn't do the work required, not only this past off season, but the off season prior,
Mhm.
and it caught them short.
Yeah, like you were saying, there's an epidemic of starting pitching just on the IL, dealing with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
injuries from elbow to shoulder, all that type of stuff. But since we're on that rotation part, and we talked about the three guys that left to Toronto, how about Yusei Kikuchi so far
Yeah.
in his Astros tenure? What have you liked and seen from him in these couple, just only these two starts, about to be the next one coming up against the Rays?
I mean, he's giving what the Astros thought that they were getting. and that is high velocity, and it's a lot of swing and miss. That's what they wanted. They want swing and miss. If you're going to go to the postseason and you're going to be pitching in the postseason, you need to be able to miss bats. And Yusei Kikuchi has shown that. I know in the first start, he hardly threw his knuckle curve or his curve ball. He went with a lot of change ups
Mhm.
and that fastball up in the zone. And it was a lot of that also in the second start. So, he's a free agent at the end of this season. I would be shocked if they brought him back. He's going to command a very high price. I believe also he's a Scott Boras agent. So, he's going to try to drive the price as much as possible. But
Mhm.
like I said, those are, this is the franchise that right now is trying to keep that window open for as long as they can. So they were put in this position where they were a little bit desperate, but so far Kikuchi's been pretty good.
Yes, he has 20 strikeouts in them last two starts as well, just giving up 4 earned runs. If you're a National fan, I think you got to be excited in what he's been bringing to the table in these last two starts. But going back to Joe Espada at the helm,
Mhm.
first year manager. We talked about it in the beginning of the season. What was your idea of him being the next manager for the Astros? He has that clubhouse presence
Yeah.
that he's been there. He's a players coach. Now tell me now, RA getting to September almost pretty soon here. What have you think about him being the manager in his first year?
I thought he has been very good. I thought he's been really good, especially under the circumstances. You take over for a manager that's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday, that has won a World Series, that has won a lot of games with those players.
Mhm.
You're He came in, he's familiar, they're familiar with him, but to get to off to the start that they did, for him to continue to elicit belief in the
Mhm.
players and the players, believing in him. I think that's a testament to him and his personality and his talent and his ability to get through and connect with his players. Has he made mistakes? Sure. Absolutely. That's just the nature of it. But I think considering everything that they've gone through in terms of how poorly they played, how injured they are,
Mhm.
uh, how injured, he's without an MVP candidate in Kyle Tucker. He
Yeah.
hasn't had Justin Verlander since the All-Star break, and yet they're in first place. So I think him and his coaching staff deserve a lot of credit.
Do you think there's a possibility if the Astros do win the division, do you possibly see him maybe contending for manager of the year in the American League? Because there's right
Yeah.
now, I know Kansas City, I think
Hmm.
his coach's name is Matt Cotaro. I want to
Yeah.
say I'm not 100% on the name correctly, but he's just done a fantastic job. Stephen Vogt, too, with the
Yeah.
Guardians, have done a great job. Last Astros manager to win the manager of the year, you got to go back to Larry Durker in 1998. So,
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Cortaro and Stephen Vogt, and they're definitely going to get votes. And, when you consider what Kansas City has done, that is a huge turnaround, and they're fighting for playoff contention. Also, what Stephen Vogt has done in Cleveland is remarkable and noteworthy as well. So, but yeah, I mean, Joe Espada will get some votes, especially if they continue playing this well and find their way to win a division title. Yeah, he definitely is worthy of getting votes.
definitely. And let's talk about the injury bug because it's been biting the Astros so many times this
Hmm.
season. Let's start with Justin Verlander. Got his first rehab start in the books in Sugarland. Supposed to be making another start in the later week of this week. If all things go well for him, how big of an impact could he be going into the postseason? Because he's not going to have that vesting option with the innings completed. So he
Yeah.
can be a free agent
Hmm.
this upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little unfair to expect Justin Verlander at his age and how much time he's missed to come in there and be Justin Verlander of 2017 or
Mhm.
even 2022. But I think he's capable of giving the Astros what they need, which is someone that has experience, that can give you 5, 6 innings of solid work. The guy knows how to pitch. So there's isn't that anything that is going to come his way in September or October, should they get there, that's going to phase him. But I don't think it's realistic to expect him to be, in going out there 6 1/3, 7 1/3, eight
Mhm.
punch outs, 2 runs. I don't think that the Astros can expect that, but he can definitely help them, and they need him
Yeah.
because when you consider all the young rotation pieces that they have there, um, they need a 6-man rotation.
Yeah.
So you got with Verlander, you'd have Fromber, Verlander, Hunter Brown, Arrighetti, Kikuchi. Who am I missing? Am I missing someone?
Blanco.
Ronel
Ronel
Blanco.
Blanco.
That is what they need for the rest. I would recommend that they go with the 6-man rotation. They did it in 2022. I think it helped Justin Verlander then in 2022 when they went to a 6-man rotation. I think it would help him immensely if they did it again.
Yeah, I want to say Dana Brown had mentioned that that's a strong possibility whenever he comes back into the rotation. And not just Justin Verlander. I think he just gives a breather to all them other arms. Arrighetti being a rookie,
Correct.
Ronel Blanco with the inning
Yeah.
threshold, Hunter Brown, of course, maybe he needs a breather. The way for Valdez, my gosh, I don't know if he needs gonna need
Yeah,
another breather.
I'm not worried about Fromber. That dude can throw and throw and
Mhm.
throw. But you're right. It's all the other names that you talked about, and especially the young guys: Blanco, Arrighetti, Hunter Brown. But if Verlander is now thrown into the mix, I think that's a really big boost because I know on the topic bar we've got there on the side we got Luis Garcia. I would be stunned if Luis Garcia pitched this year.
Mhm.
I just think we're running out of time. The calendar is starting to get the best of him. So I just don't think you can expect Luis Garcia to give them anything this year. Next year, yeah, you start fresh and see what happens. But I would be shocked if it was this year.
Yeah, if that's the case, then you got LMJ, McCullers Jr., and Luis Garcia not pitching this year, which a lot of Astro fans were hoping that they would pitch at least in this season.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Kyle Tucker, though, been out since the beginning of June, like we were
Hmm.
mentioning, 2 months that he hasn't played. I guess it was a huge deep bone bruise, but now it looks like he's starting to run some bases, do some outfield drills,
Yeah.
and the trop as of right now. What do you think for him coming into this last part? How beneficial, especially in that middle part of the lineup where they're struggling to get some type of contact or some run support because the way that's 1 through 4 has been doing, it looks really great. But after that, Jake Myers has kind of fell off the wagon. John Singleton as well. Jeremy Pena has his days. How impactful is he going to be bringing that bat into that middle part of that lineup?
Well, yeah, I mean, it gives you another threat, right? Kind of along the same lines with Justin Verlander. I don't know what you can expect from Kyle Tucker when he comes back. I think it's probably going to be September when he comes back. I mean, here we are, August 12th, and I haven't heard anything about going on a rehab assignment. And the other thing is, the minor league season is coming to a close here
Mhm.
pretty soon. I'm trying to see when Sugarland, when is their last game? Uh,
Let's see.
Let me see here. Bear with me here. I would
No,
love to see. Yeah, I mean, so they go to like mid September. So. You're starting to run out of time.
yeah.
You're starting to run out of days. And then, like I said, the minor league season's also coming to a close. So Tucker needs to start doing some meaningful rehab work.
Mhm.
These are definitely positive signs. Him running the bases, doing outfield work, that's all good. But if he's going to have an impact, he needs to really start doing some meaningful things. My guess is obviously, we don't have a medical background, but my guess is there was a fracture there
Uh-huh.
in his leg, similar to what Jermaine Dye did a handful of years ago, and that cost him his season. Something very similar. So I know fans are frustrated and they're wondering what's taking so long. How come he hasn't come back? But I have a feeling it was a pretty significant injury, maybe even more significant than they let on.
Do you think it could be possible, like an impact on arbitration in this coming off season, as well as maybe extension talks with him?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he wants to be out there. I mean, he's under contract till, through next season.
Yeah.
So, um, I don't think that has any bearing. I just think that if you're running in pain and it's not like he's just playing first base. You
Mhm.
know, he's a premium defensive outfielder. He's very athletic. He makes athletic plays out there, and they need him. So they obviously want him to be 100% healthy. So just being extra cautious and trying to be as prudent as possible.
Most definitely. But last on our list, the second half predictions. Give me a player that's gonna be impactful in this last coming months of August, September, going into
Ooh.
October. Give me a player that plays on the field as well as a pitcher, and then give me the
Okay.
predictions for the postseason.
All right. I'm gonna say, he's been good all year, but I think Yanir Diaz is going to continue to hit well. I also think that I think Alex Bregman's going to stay scorching hot as he makes a salary push and gets ready for free agency. As he more than likely, in my opinion, will be playing for a new team next season. So
Mhm.
I think Bregman, Diaz, they're going to remain scorching hot, and then is the pitcher. Uh, yeah, I'm going to say Verlander. I mean,
Verlander.
I don't know what you can expect, but by all signs, he was hitting like 94, 95, and looked pretty good, and in some as he works his way back. So that'll work. The Astros could definitely use that. So it's going to be interesting, man. I have no idea, and I don't think anyone can say for sure that they know what's going to happen. The Mariners aren't going away.
Nope.
I'm thinking that the Rangers, maybe they have, they're too far back, but who knows? We'll see.
Nice. Yeah, I know the division right now. It's kind of almost like last year with Texas all over again, but this time with the Mariners. But Robert, I appreciate you taking the time.
You
Of
got
course,
it.
22 minutes in the book, but like I tell everybody, continue to follow us at our ticker below on our social platforms. You got Robert Flores right there. RoFlo, you can follow him on Twitter. On Instagram, you have the same tag, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Real RoFlo. Yeah, yeah.
Real
Yep, that's
RoFlo,
it.
and even your Twitch. Don't forget his Twitch channel on
That's it.
MLB The Show.
That's
And a
it.
little bit of college football as the college football season getting closer, man.
I know, I know. We've got football season right around the corner, and then we've got playoff baseball. So it's a really, really good time of year.
Definitely. But appreciate everybody sticking around and get on this episode, Robert. Like I said before, appreciate you taking the time
You
to
got it,
talk
Zoe.
Astros baseball.
Talk to you later.
Awesome, guys. See you soon.